Yurduma Leylim ley Derdar tağı aramadım derdime Leylim ley Geleceksen bir gün düşüp ardıma Leylim ley Kula değil yüreğine sor beni Leylim ley Leylim ley Leylim ley Leylim ley Leylim ley Leylim ley Leylim ley
I've been in business for nearly 2 years, but in the market itself for 6 months.
I'm a member of the union, and I work in the cleaning industry as a permanent part-time, and I've served, of the 17 years that I worked, in the cleaning industry, the 80% are women and came from the non-English speaking background. So it's really, a bulk of the women in the industry.
I work full-time for a not-for-profit organisation.
I currently work in the restaurant part of a busy pub in Melbourne in the southeast.
I have found it pretty hard to get a job because of discrimination. They sometimes think that when you're studying or when you're a student, they don't give you the exact pay. When they see that you're not, when you're Asian, they discriminate you a bit, and when it comes to pay, you get less paid than the people who are actually here.
Because I am migrant in this country, when I came here, I worked so many years in the factory. Then after I start doing courses, educating myself, and I applied a couple of jobs. I didn't get it.
Job comes to me, I'll take it. But I think that's why I don't look for work, because I don't want to face that. I can't accept being rejected.
But because we don't earn money for looking after our children and running the household and becoming household managers, because we don't earn anything, it's not economically valuable, and therefore the skills or the job that we do is not valued in society. And going to job interviews, well, forget it. I've got no chance amongst those who are currently working. No chance whatsoever.
Every day, that's like a life for me, because first I'm from Africa, so I've got family back home, and I've got a child, so I'm a single parent. I got married when I was 16.
I found it difficult to find work around the hours that would suit me. It had to be worth my while, really. I had to really think a lot about that, and I found it just easier just to be at home.
It wasn't worth me working part-time or full-time, because the cost of childcare would have, basically what I'd earned would have gone to childcare.
I cared for my husband who is sick with cancer. Because, to be a carer, you don't have a family support, you're on your own. And then as a carer, you ignore your own sort of help. So it's more, it knocks you out, I would say. I think to me, as a carer, it's really not even worth, even if the government is going to pay me, money. It's very, very hard.
it comes to day-to-day things, shopping and what I buy for the children, that was never a question. That was food, was never a problem. Any major purchases, that was definitely not a decision that was welcome. For me, the double standards really became clear when I stopped working and I became a full-time mum, and then all of a sudden the imbalance really became polarised for me, and I realised that my partner could at a whim go out and make a major purchase without consulting me, whereas I didn't feel I had the power to be able to make the same decision actually, and there would have been major repercussions if I did do such a thing.
Well, my husband, he travels overseas, so basically because I've got two children, one is 20 and another one is 13, I just make sure that we get good stuff to eat.
It's pretty much all my responsibility to feed everybody and pay the bills and do all that, yeah.
Well, I think they should address things like, abuse, and there are a lot of issues, women's health.
There is very little diversity in women in advertising. I think that there are very particular images of women that are put forward as the desirable way to be, desirable way to look, desirable way to behave.
I've had experiences through travels and things like that where you see that the billboards of women that are tall and blonde, and this will be in countries like Mexico or Asia where people traditionally aren't ever going to reach 6 foot tall, and so it's a completely unrealistic image and actually does not relate to them or their appearance in any way, shape or form. So for people to strive to these goals of these body shapes which genetically aren't even possible, I think is absolutely ridiculous.
There are huge challenges for women in developing countries in terms of just, for example, subsistence farming, the connection or reliance on agriculture and the land and the impacts of climate change on that. Also in terms of adaptation, people having to move from their area. I think that people, a lot of women don't have access to insurance, let alone any sorts of savings or assets where they can move to a new place and establish themselves.
Obviously it makes a big difference when there's a drought and we can't get sort of, the food, the fruit, the vegetables that we would normally pay a certain price for are going up.
Climate change will raise prices. It might make transport more difficult, so for people that live in isolated communities it'll become difficult for them to go to the markets where they need to get food. It'll definitely make the lives of women more difficult, more labour intensive, and possibly that will affect people's general happiness and well-being and lifespan as well.
Will make some everyday consumables more expensive. I think that certain types of food will become more expensive because of the impacts on crops that climate change will have. Yeah, I could go on, but I won't.